All right, everybody. For those of you who don't know, my name is Michael Forrest, and welcome to It's Quest Time. Now, before we get going, let me ask you guys, if you can, to stay off of the stage area here. This way, nobody blocks this big display behind me. And if any of you send me any text messages, don't waste your time. I won't be getting them until the end of the event. We used to get trolled a lot like that, so now my policy is I don't respond to any text messages until after the event. So don't waste your time. If you do need to reach us, though, the best way to do it is by joining our Discord. You'll find the address right here on the front of the stage. And, that's a great resource. If you have any questions about event hosting, world building, you just want to say, hey, it's a good place to do that, and come check us out there. All right. Also, if I can direct your attention to your menu wheel in the lower left, you're going to see at the very top of that menu wheel is a microphone icon. Now, when that microphone icon is clear, that means we can hear you and everything that's happening in your environment, right? So what we're going to go ahead and turn this to red, and this means that you mute it. So if somebody comes into your space and says, hey, are you still on that thing? You feel free to answer them, because we're not going to hear that. Likewise, if maybe you have a barking dog in the background, you're not going to face social ruin back at the campfire by becoming known as the avatar that suddenly started barking during its quest time, right? But just because you're muted does not mean you can't express yourself. You can and should use this pink cheek smiley face that you have in your menu wheel. When you click on that, your emoji panel will appear in the air in front of you, offering you a wide variety of options with which to express yourself. So if, for example, I share something deep and powerful and meaningful and starts to build up inside you, you can just let it out and let it flow just like that. Maybe I got some backup dancers backstage, right? And they come on out and we break into It's Quest Time, the musical. You can, throw up the applause that I live for. You really appreciate the production value like that, and I can take a moment to drink it all in because it feels good. All right, now I could ask you guys a yes or no question. You could say yes by smiling like this, or you could say no by frowning like that. Maybe I say something funny. You can show me you're laughing by doing this smiling, this laughing face emoji here, right? And then there's this thing. This is by far the most distracting emoji ever. All right, I think we could all agree. A giant hand sticking out of your head, it's kind of distracting. So we're going to use this as kind of a signal, right? So let's say my voice goes choppy. I'm going to want to know that. Let's say one of my producers or my moderators, they set the stage on fire. I'm going to want to know that too. Maybe Sharky starts making fun of me when my back is turned. I'm going to want to know that. All right. But if you're one of those that keeps popping your hand up throughout the event, you might be somebody messing around, or maybe the problem that you're having is just you. All right, and you can usually solve that by just re-entering the space. That'll usually take care of most things, but unless I see 3 or 4 of you doing it at one time, I'm probably just going to keep on going. All right, but that's going to be our signal. That's going to be like our bond, our sacred pact. Now, in the middle of that emoji wheel, you'll find an X in there to close that emoji panel, but it's a good idea to leave it open during events like this because, this way it gives me some feedback. It lets me know how I'm doing, but more importantly, it lets the people around you know what you're experiencing. So if the person next to you starts going like this, that means they found something funny, right? And you might not agree. You might be like, that's not funny at all. I'm going to go stand over here. And you can totally do that because this is VR, except we can't do it right over here because we agreed you wouldn't be standing up on the stage. That was our agreement, people. That was our pact. Okay? You've got to rely on you. We can't count on that. What can we count on? All right, let's see what kind of audience we're dealing with here today. How many of you are on a Quest right now? If you're on a Quest 2, put your hands up. Let me see. All right, more than a few of you. How many of you are on an original Quest? Anybody on an original Quest? Put your hands up if you're on an original Quest. All right, a few of you, okay. Well, whether you're on a Quest or a Quest 2, this event is designed to help you get the most out of your device in Altspace. All right, and that's the purpose of us meeting here today. And when I was first waiting for my first Quest, when I started out with the Quest 1, I guess we'll call it, when I was waiting for it, I was on an Oculus Go. And you may not realize this, but an Oculus Go only has one controller. So when I was in Altspace, all anybody ever saw was me talking with one hand. Now, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, so I'm used to talking with my hands a lot. But all anybody saw was this one hand. And I didn't feel like I was expressing myself as fully as I could, right? So I couldn't wait to get this hand. I couldn't wait to get this controller so I could start moving around and doing all this stuff, right? So I'm waiting for it to come. And then when it finally arrived, I took one look at the controllers and I was like, wow, that's a lot of buttons. And it's a lot to take in. If you're new to Altspace, you're new to VR, this can be a lot to take in. It can be a little bit to get used to. It only takes you a few days to about a week or so to really get a handle on it. But then when my Quest 2 arrived, I took a look at those controllers and I was like, you know what? This is pretty much the same thing. It's not really different. It's not very different. There's only a few small minor differences. Like on the side of the top of the control panel, you have this thumb rest area because I guess Oculus figured if your thumbs get tired, you needed a place to put them. But they do the same thing. If you touch the thumb rest, you're going to find that your avatar's thumb goes down. If you touch the buttons on your controller or the thumbstick without pushing down, you're going to find that your avatar's thumb goes down just like that. All right. The other difference is at the very bottom of the controller here where it says Oculus Home, right? That bottom button on the Quest 1 used to be flat and now it's concave so you can find it a little bit better. It's a little curved there. But since they're practically the same, when I say to one group really applies to both. So we're going to really kind of go over these controllers to make sure that you get used to it. Now listen, I know if you're here already, you already have like a handle on some of it, right? Like, you know, the left thumbstick's going to move you around like this, right? And you know the right thumbstick's going to turn you in these circles. And when you combine them, you get these big elaborate circles that make my presentation so much more dramatic. And you know, this way, if you guys can join me and do this when I look out there, it's going to look like you guys are ballroom dancing. Go ahead, go into this and let me see what you got, people. What do you have? Let's see. Let's have a look. All right, that's pretty fancy. Not bad. All right, cool. I always say I wish you guys could see what this looks like, and you can. If you stand on this rug area here, you'll be on our YouTube camera, which is Ravenhall right up there. So if you want to feel VR famous, we're going to post this in a few weeks. You can wave on out there and be like, hey, YouTube, how's it going? We got a lot of people in here. We've got, let's see, they're never hi, I'm Caleb, 2005. We've got Bob. We've got the Aether. We've got Ian. We've got Tofi. We've got Alaska Man. We've got Hummingbird. We got Nick. We've got a lot of people in here. Come on in, Altspace. I think you'll enjoy it. We also got Boonsaki's over here, too. All right, so let's take a look at these controls. Make sure everybody gets a handle on it. The first button we're going to talk about is this grip button that you have on the side of the controllers here. And you're going to use this to interact with your environment, whether you're, throwing, like those skyrockets in your home space, or maybe you're building the world with your own two hands. This is how you're going to interact with your environment, all right? And if you've never tried it before, and my backup dancers can toss me out some of these basketballs here, right? I'm going to toss these out, all right? And this way, if you've never used it before, you can aim at one of these, squeeze that grab button, and then kind of toss it around to really get, comfortable with doing that. All right, so I'm going to toss a few of those out. There we go. One more. Thank you, backup dancers. All right, now, if you're having a room scale experience, right, for some reason, that's always the time, like when you walk out past your main menu, that's always the time somebody asks you to open up your main menu. And you'd be like, what main menu? And you're like, that blue and white triangle on your left. And you look down, and there'll be nothing there because you already walked out past it. And you're like, there's nothing there. And this happens a lot. It's important to remember that on your, whoa, there we go. Look at that. Everybody saw that? The basketball came right at me. What's going on there? All right, look at it spinning out there. Look at that. All right, let's just throw that back out there. It's always been happening a while. I'm going to squeeze the grip button. It starts coming back. Look at that. What is that? That's really weird. All right, cool. But yeah, so where was I? That kind of threw me off a little bit there, huh? All right, well, let's see here. So, well, it did, Stage. Don't laugh at me, Stage. I got a laughing basketball. Stage. A talking stage. Look at the stage is talking. All right, let's see here. I'm actually stalling, trying to figure out where I left off. All right, yeah, there we go. So if you walk out past your main menu when you want to get it, on your left controller, right down at the bottom, that bottom button there that says main menu, right? If you press on this button, your main menu is going to open. I like to combine it with a hand flick like this, like boom, my menu's open, right? And then if I do it again, like boom, my menu's closed. I haven't touched that blue and white triangle in months, and you don't have to either. All you have to do is just, press on that left bottom button, and your menu's going to open or close depending on the state of the menu. All right, now another thing to keep in mind here is that you have to worry about your vertical height in Altspace. Is somebody willing to change your vertical height for me, like lift yourself up or, get down low? Anybody willing to change your height? Let me see. Anybody? A room full of this many people. There we go. Let's see. We've got QT Alana. Come up to the right here so everybody can see. All right, come a little bit closer so everybody can see you. All right, now if Alana presses down on the left thumb, a little bit too close. Oh no. All right, let's try this again. All right, all right, down there. You getting up there? All right, cool. All right, now let's see. Change the height again. There you go. Now, if you press down on the left thumbstick, show everybody what happens. Like press down on it like it's a button. Just press down on that left thumbstick and watch what happens, everybody. Boom. You see how she snapped right into place? Just like that, right? Well, that's that's called recentering. So you can actually control your height that way. You could also make minor adjustments to it. We also have the Aether doing it too. Aether, you want to try that? Press down on the left thumbstick. Show everybody. See how he snaps right into place? Now press down on it again. Right, I was waving out there. You go, boom. You see how it snapped into place? So if you're feeling too tall or too short in Altspace, just look straight ahead and press down on your left thumbstick like it's a button, because it is. You can even make minor adjustments to your height too. Like if I want to be a little bit shorter, I just look up, I press down that left thumbstick, and now I'm a little bit shorter. Let's say I want to be a little bit taller. I just look down like this, I press down on my left thumbstick, and now I'm a little bit taller, right? And this can make, little height adjustments to make sure I'm comfortable. Because let's say I'm talking to somebody I know in the real world, and in the real world I'm a little bit taller than them, and in Altspace they're a little bit taller than me. I can make adjustments that way. And so can you. All right, now another thing you got to keep in mind is on your right controller, right, on this very top button next to your thumbstick, that's your teleport button, which is a great way to get around Altspace. If everybody would line up along this wall here for me, right, we can give this a try. All right, so if we're going to press down on that left thumbstick, we're going to aim at the floor, right, not the thumbstick, the top button there. And when we aim at the floor, you're going to see a teleport target appear on the floor right there. Now, if you reach across the room right there and aim right by the window, as soon as you let go, boom, you get thrown right across the room, like just like that. All right, so go ahead and everybody teleport over to me while there's still time. Now, on your left controller, you're going to notice that you have, if you squeeze your index finger on that trigger right there, right, if you hold that down, this is going to act like an accelerator where you're walking or you're flying. This is going to cause you to go quicker. And we can run on out and really try that. Let's everybody go into a really big circle right here. Maybe we can make a whirlpool. Maybe we can make it rain, like, you know, like a little hurricane action up in here. All right, now I'm going to jump on the stage and see how your formation is. Let's take a look. Oh, wow, not bad. It's kind of a figure eight, but it's not bad. It's looking good. How many of you are dizzy right now? Put your hand up if you're dizzy. Anybody dizzy? All right, we got one. All right, code two. All right, well, if you're getting dizzy, you probably shouldn't do that thing. All right, that's lesson number one. If you get dizzy, you just stop. All right, we actually are going to show you how to overcome some of the dizziness in VR in just a moment, so hang on for that. All right, now, another thing, when I first started messing around, another thing you can do is you're facing the stage, right, and you're holding down on that accelerator button, and you go backwards and teleport at the floor. You can go into the Altspace moonwalk, which I'm hoping is not a copyright infringement. Another thing you can do, I come down in the audience a lot. You might have noticed that. And one time I come down and I saw, a crowd of people around me and I had to get back on stage in a hurry. So what I did was I put my hand over my shoulder like that, and boom, I teleported backwards. Right? I didn't know you could do that. Turns out you can. So yeah, it's a cool way to get around. You can just teleport backwards like that. Right? And also, let's see here. But when I first started messing around with this stuff, I was going to the Universe a lot, and I walked up to the edge of the world when it was over to look around and explore. And I went a little bit too far, and I fell right off the edge of the world. And as I'm falling, I look over and I see there's this cliff there, right? And I reach out and I managed to lock my teleport target right onto that cliff. And as soon as I let go, boom, I was thrown to safety. It's not like you're going to get hurt in Altspace, but I knew in that moment that I was finally getting a handle on the controls. And you will too. It doesn't take a long time to pick it up. And when you do, there's going to come a moment, you're going to remember me saying this, where you'll always feel the plastic in your hands, right? But there's going to come a time when these actually become your hands, where you won't think about it anymore. Like if I say, hey, everybody, look out that window, just like that. I'm not thinking about how I'm pointing. I just do it. And the way you do that is if you squeeze your grip buttons, you're going to find that your hands go into a point. And you can combine this in a variety of ways to communicate. Like if you go like this and put it together, you can make like a triangle, like the Altspace logo, right? And then you can hold it up nice and high. Show me some Altspace pride, people. Let me see it. See, you guys didn't say a word. You feel that? I feel that. That feels good, right? All right, now you twist your hands together. You can make kind of a picture frame like this, right? Maybe squeeze your trigger to get a little shutter action. Remember this moment forever. How cool would it be if they set it up that we could take screenshots like this? That would be awesome. Just be like snap, snap. There we go. Snap, snap. That'd be cool. Maybe you put them together. Let's see. What else can we do here? We can make a W like that, right? If you squeeze your trigger buttons together, you can give me two thumbs and your grip, and give me two thumbs up like this. Let me know I'm doing a good job up here. But like, yeah, Michael Forrest. And then maybe not so much. Two thumbs down. You messed that bit up, right? Maybe give me a little bit of both because you haven't made up your mind yet, right? You could do it like that, right? Or maybe like this. I've seen people doing that too. Maybe release those trigger buttons to get kind of a W thing going on, right? Let's see. You can maybe do like alternating thumbs like this going to kind of a dance. That's pretty cool, right? At the first Quest time we ever had, somebody came up to the stage and they went like this. Right. And I thought it was cool, so I did it back. And then the whole audience started going like this, and I just thought it was neat. Right. And that's really the best way to pick this stuff up. Right. If you see somebody doing something you like, just mirror them. And if you mirror them, you're going to make that gesture your own. And then you're going to have a variety of ways that you'll be able to communicate using body language. Because believe it or not, body language in VR is a really big deal. Like if you're at an event like this, if somebody comes up to you, right, and they walk right up to you and they start shaking their head like this. That means don't do that thing. Right? Come on, give me a good head shake. Oh, yeah, very stern. I like that. You're probably a natural moderator there, Kofi, going like that. All right. But, so yeah, you can communicate with your body language in a variety of different ways. It is pretty awesome. All right. Now, there's another button you need to be concerned about here. And don't press this now, because if you disappear, I'm going to feel it. But on the very bottom of your right controller, that bottom button, you got to think of that as an eject button. All right. That is the best way out of Altspace. So if somebody comes in your space and says, hey, dinner's ready, right? You'll be like, oh, gotta go. And you press that button just like that. And then you would press quit and the app would close. But let's say you pressed it by accident. You're at the Universe, you're dancing around, and all of a sudden your hand hits that button. You just press resume and you'll be taken right back into Altspace. It'll be like you never left. All right. So that's good to know. But you can also use this button in the event that something goes wrong. So let's say I go, hey, everybody, look out that window. And when I turn my head back, the whole world moves with me, and I know something's wrong. And I start feeling dizzy, right? You're going to need a quick way out when that happens, right? So what you do is you press that bottom eject button, then you press quit, and you restart the app. And honestly, this is going to take care of most of the problems that you can have, not just in Altspace, but in other apps as well, right? But occasionally something more serious might happen, right? Like I look out the window again, and I see there's a black void on the edge of my screen, and I'm like, uh-oh, it's the void. It's coming to get me. And I notice at the top and the bottom and the side of my screens, all have a black edge around me. And as I look at it, all of you, you're all frozen in space like this. And it's all very dramatic, you know, and I get all nervous. I'm like, uh-oh, I better press that eject button. And I start banging on the eject button, but nothing happens, right? And I start to panic. And I'm like, Michael Forrest, you lied to me. How could you? I mean, I wouldn't say that because I am Michael Forrest, but you might say that, right? So what do you do in an event like this, right? Well, this just happened in Altspace. This just means your device is frozen. This is going to happen in other apps too. And the way you deal with this is you restart your headset. But now, when I first got my Quest, I would take my headset off to restart it. And if you like plug it in and the charge light's not coming on, you can get to feel like your device is broken, right? A good habit to get into is to restart the headset while it's still on your head. And the way you do this is you take your index finger and you swipe it up and down the side of the device until you feel the raised up power button, right? Then you take your left hand, all right, and you counterbalance it with your other fingertip there. This way, you're not like, sliding the device all over your head, because that can be uncomfortable. So you basically squeeze your fingers together on the power button, right? And I like to look down like in a deep concentration pose, just like that. And after about 4 seconds go by, I concentrate so hard my avatar disappears and I get plunged into the darkness, but I don't let go. I just hang on. And after about 10 seconds, I start to wonder, man, why did Oculus make this take so long? I don't know. 15 seconds go by, I start thinking about friends I haven't seen in a while, 20 seconds go by, I start thinking about the big questions. I start thinking about life, and then 20-something seconds go by, and all of a sudden, out of the darkness, the Oculus logo emerges like the bat signal. And when it starts to pulse, and sometimes you'll hear an Oculus tone, as soon as that happens, I'll take my hands away just like that, right? And the device will start normally. And this is going to take care of most of the problems that you're going to have, not just in Altspace, but in other apps as well, all right? It's a good thing to know, but very occasionally something more serious might happen. Like a few weeks ago, actually about a month ago now, I came into Altspace and I come up on the stage. I see somebody got their hand up. Alaska man, you got your hand up like that. Is my voice going choppy? Yeah, it is. All right, I'm being told they sound okay. All right, so maybe it's just you, Alaska man. You might want to re-enter the space. That can help. Yeah, thanks, Mrs. Producer on stage. All right, but what can happen here is, like when you restart your device like that, right? When I come into Altspace this one time, about a month ago, and I get up on a stage and I'm like, hi, my name is Michael Forrest and welcome to the thing. And as I said that, I disappeared and I was back at the Oculus screen and I'm like, that was weird. So I come rushing into Altspace. I jump into the load screen, I'm going and I'm trying to jump off that hill and I can't move. And the next thing you know, I'm back in the event space. And what happens, right? I get back up on the stage and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, everybody, but... And then the next thing you know, I'm back at the Oculus screen again. And I'm like, what's going on? So I uninstall Altspace and I reinstall Altspace and I come back and I'm like, all right, everybody, I'm having a problem. I don't know what's happening. And I disappeared again, all right? Sometimes the only thing you can do is a factory reset. And that's going to put the device back the way it was when you first got it. But it's important to know if you have any pictures saved to your device, or if you have, all of your apps are going to have to re-download. You're going to lose all those pictures that you have saved. You might even lose your Beat Saber scores. Okay, so only use this in an emergency. This is serious business, people. Right? And so I did the factory reset. It was like the headset went back to the way it was the day I got it, and I haven't had a problem since. So it really worked out. All right, so it's good to know it's there. Only use it in an emergency, though. All right, now, if you're here today, you already know about your Guardian system. You've done the tour. I see a hand going up here. Walker, we will be taking questions at the end, okay? All right, so hang on to that. We're almost there. But if you're here today, you're already familiar with the Guardian system, right? And, you've done the tour, you dance with the robot, all that kind of stuff, right? And, what you may not know is how to use the Guardian system to your advantage in Altspace, right? Now, remember before we were going around that big circle and some of you felt dizzy? A great way to deal with dizziness in VR, if you get it, is to take a look at your hand, right? Just put it right up in front of your face, just like that. Right. And, take a good look at that. I mean, Walker's probably getting dizzy about now. When it starts to hit him, just go like this, right? Just like that. And the dizziness will start to pass. And when it does, take it slowly away and take in the world around you. And when you do that, the dizziness will start to pass. All right. And let's see, Walker WR, I'm going to have to ask you maybe sit still for a little bit there. Because that's really distracting. I'm actually a person up here. So you try to, trying to remember some material and somebody's going like this, going, hey, hey, up there, hey, it's going to throw you off, man. There's no denying that, right? All right, so maybe don't do that thing. All right, but yeah, so if you do experience dizziness in VR, you could also use your Guardian system for this purpose too. Like you're going to notice, for example, like let's say that I'm up here and I start getting really, kind of dizzy, right? What I can do is, what you can do is create if you walk, okay, the guy really threw me off. Sorry, everybody. All right, so when you get dizzy in VR, I've seen another hand going up here. All right, okay. Okay, well, there we go. Okay, so like I said, we're going to get to the questions in just a moment. We're not far from it, everybody. But if you're going to use the Guardian system right, is a way to create a reality anchor, and this can help you with your dizziness. So I always like to tell people when they mess around with the Guardian system, when they're in the VR, please be mindful of your environment. You don't want to injure yourself, and you don't want to damage your device either. But what you're going to find is, you're going to see this in Altspace a lot. Somebody will be walking along, they're having a good day, and all of a sudden they hit a wall. Right, and those real world walls are a menace. They really are. Something ought to be done. Right, but until then, one thing that you can do is something I like to call a reality anchor. Right, and the way you do this is, walk around, in your space with your hands out. This way that you'll trigger the Guardian nice and early, right? And when you get up to the edge, like if I walk up to my real world wall right now, I got my hands out like this, and all of a sudden that grid appears in the air right in front of me. Right, but you know what? While I got this grid in front of me, right, in front of my real world wall like this, right, I can still touch my thumbsticks, which means I can move my avatar around in VR while I'm still facing that wall. And now what I can do is I can line up that wall with, say, this display here, right? And as soon as I do that, this big display up here is all lined up with my wall. I can back up to take it in, and now I feel connected to the real world. So if I back up too far and I fall off the stage and, oh no, I'm in the audience. Let's say you guys aren't a nice crowd. Let's say that everybody was like that Walker guy and they're all whipping around. They're trying to throw me off, right? Let's say, so everybody come up to me and it's like, stick your hands in my face, go around me, try to make me dizzy. Give me your worst. Let's see what you got here. That's all you got? Really? Seriously? All right, well, you're going to find that I can have no problem talking. This isn't throwing me off at all. That one guy who's going back and forth actually threw me off way more than any of this because I can still see that screen. And as long as I see that screen, I feel connected to the real world. You don't even have to use that. You can use something like the edge of the stage here and line this up with a real world table or a real world desk, right? That'll help out a lot, right? And this is going to help you feel connected to the real world. So if you experience dizziness in VR, this can really get you your VR legs in a hurry. If you do experience dizziness beyond that, what you can do is, just come out of VR for a little while. Eventually, you're going to get your VR legs. You're going to find you're able to stay in here longer and longer. But if you're new to VR, this is a really great way to, help get past that. And it does improve. Another thing you can do also is, and this isn't useful, it's just cool. If you go up to the edge of your boundary, right there, and you look through your boundary, your pass-through camera is going to go off. You make sure you have enough room for your head to go through like that, right? What you're going to find is that there's a spot where you can see both realities at the same time. And this is cool. It's not useful, it's just cool because you're gonna see Altspace avatars in your home environment when you do this, right? I was visiting with my mom a couple weeks ago in VR, and she tried this, and she's like, you're standing in my kitchen. Right, but what's cool is it gives you a sense of how tall Altspace users are. Like all Altspace avatars are generally about 6 feet tall, and they're a lot wider than you would think. And this doesn't really register until you see them in a familiar environment, like your office or your living room or your kitchen or wherever you VR from. All right. Now, another thing you can do in here is you can transition between a room scale and a stationary experience pretty effortlessly. Like next month I'm going to have my 600th event, and I'll be honest with you, I'm tired. I'm at the edge of the stage here, and I'm exhausted. I don't know how much longer I can do this. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'll go up to the edge of my Guardian system. And now they got that cool double tap feature where you can go to the side of the headset, you go tap, tap, and all of a sudden the pass-through camera goes off and I can see the real world. And I'm like, oh, wow, I'm back home. Here's my coffee. And I take a sip of my coffee, I throw it down, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to clean it up later. And then I'm going to go, check out my chair over here, and I turn around and I sit down, and there's this blue button asking if I want to have a stationary experience. And I'm like, yeah, I want to have a stationary experience. So I go ahead and I click on that blue button. That was really weird. Okay. My Guardian just went off and I was suddenly thrown into the real world. That was pretty funny because it was as I was describing this bit. All right. So I'm back now. But, so I'll sit down in my chair and I'll press down that blue button saying I want to have a stationary experience. And when I do, the grid's going to come up and I'm going to find that not only am I still in VR, but I'm still in Altspace. I never actually left. Right. And, so you can be comfortable. This works in the other direction too. There was this one time I was moderating an event and it was almost over and I felt like getting up and walking around. And I figured I'd just get up and I'd walk into my Guardian system. It should be no problem, right? So I get up and I walk in there, right? And I find, and the headset tells me that it's lost my Guardian. And normally, this can happen due to changing light levels, or for one reason or another, your device can't resolve where it is in your space quickly enough. So it tells you to just draw another boundary. Not a big deal. Right. But, when there's 2 minutes left in the event, it's a very big deal. So I scramble and I start drawing out a new boundary like this. And I'm going around. I'm like, why is my space so big? And of all the times I had to moderate for an admin hummingbird, why did it have to be today? And then I close that loop and the grid comes back up. And I find that not only am I still in VR, but I'm still in Altspace. I never left. All right. So you can be comfortable in VR. If you're at an event and, like, oh, man, I had no idea this guy was going to go on for a half an hour. Right. I got to sit down. You can. right? Or maybe you're at the event and you're like, oh, that intro music really got me going. I really feel like moving around. I want to get up. You can, right? Just be careful. Don't injure yourself and don't damage your device. All right. Now, one of the great things about the Quest is it just works. It doesn't mean it can't work better. There's a lot of accessories that can really improve the experience, especially with the Quest 2. A lot of people find that the original strap that the Quest 2 comes with is very uncomfortable. One of the things that can improve it, if you're stuck with using that in the beginning, is that the hinges on the side of the device, please remember that they rock up and down. You can adjust it that way. But also the Elite strap is really great. In the beginning, they were breaking, but now they started shipping them again, and they actually extended the warranty on it to 2 years. All right, just because they have like so much confidence that this is working. And if you have tried any accessories for the Quest or the Quest 2, we're interested in hearing about them. But if you'd like to try the ones that we recommend, you can go to altvr.com, and when you're there in the upper left, you're going to see a link that says channels. Now, when you click on this, you're going to see all these wonderful Altspace event channels listed there, and right in the middle of the page, you're going to see Ravenhall events, like it says up on that back wall. All right, and if you click on this, you get taken to our event channel, and on our event channel, there's a join Discord button. There's a list of recommended projects, and if you join our Discord, it's a great way to say hello or ask questions or anything like that. But you'll also see in the upper right the most important button on the internet, the subscribe button. And when you click on that, it lets Altspace know that you enjoy our content. We don't get paid to do this, so every time we see that number go up, it encourages us to keep on going. It's even better when you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's the best. All right, everybody, we are going to be taking your questions and your comments as promised. So what you're going to find now is that in your lower right, you're going to see a raise hand button appear as if by magic. All right, that's what magic looks like in VR. Right now, if you go ahead and press that raise hand button, it'll turn blue. You'll get on my list, and I'll call you. I'll feel like a radio show host. It'll be awesome. And while we wait for that to fill up, if you're on Twitter and you want to follow us, you can find us at Ravenhall VR. All right, everybody. So let's see. We got some questions. Let's see, who do we have here? We have the Aether. I hope I'm saying that right. What's up, Aether? You're on the air. Okay, you just disappeared. Okay, so let's see. I lost you there. We also have Morgan Forrest. That's all right. There we go. All right, Mr. Producer, you have a question, or you press the button by accident?
I don't feel terribly confident in the information, but I actually saw an aftermarket add-on that is thought controlled, so no controllers. It's all.
Oh, I saw that too. That freaked me out. Right? Yeah. There's this a device that you can put on the back of the device there, and what that'll do is in place of your controllers, you can activate some games by thought. They haven't really developed too many apps for it, and there's actually a kid's toy that's based on the same principle, where if you think on a certain wavelength, it'll control this ball moving around. But yeah, that looks like it's got a lot of potential. All right, let's see. I saw everybody disappear off the list there. Okay. All right, so that's it. You were the only one with a question. All right, if anybody has a question or comment, press that raise hand button. This might be Altspace being Altspace. So if I'm not calling on you, wait, hang on. We got somebody coming in now. Let's see, who do we have? We have Bob. What's going on, Bob? You're on the air, and I feel like a radio host. Where are you, Bob?
All right.
There.
I had a question.
What's that?
A haptic vest, can that be
Yes.
used with the Quest?
That's a really good question. I would immediately say that you could probably get it to work if you're using an Oculus Link cable. Directly hooked up to your PC. As a standalone, if it has a Bluetooth connection, maybe. All right, I would check with Oculus. I haven't actually checked to see if it would work, but just off the top of my head, I would say probably your best bet is using a link cable. All right, or you might be able to get it to work with like virtual desktop or something like that.
Right.
If because even with wireless headphones that are Bluetooth enabled, not all of them are going to work. And so whenever you're in doubt, or before you spend any money on a product, always check with Oculus. They're really great about getting back to you and answering questions. Always go to Oculus/support and say, hey, listen, I want to buy these headphones. They're Bluetooth, but I need to know if they're going to work with my Quest or not. There's no sense wasting the money there. All right, let's see. Damo's got his hand up. Let's see if he's on the list here. Damo, yeah. All right, cool. Damo, what's up? You're on the air. What's going on?
Hi, I was just confirming that you can use a haptic vest with the Oculus Quest standalone.
Oh, you can? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it connects via Bluetooth, or how's that work?
With Bluetooth, yeah.
Bluetooth,
so,
okay.
It only works with a handful of games, probably 6 or 7, but yeah.
Very nice. That's cool. Thanks for letting us know, Damo. So there you go, Bob. Yes, you actually can use the vest, and now I learned something in Quest time. That's awesome. I love it when the audience answers questions. That's amazing. All right, cool. Let's see. Well, I do. It's cool because it's like that's how we all learn. Let's see. We also have Nico. I'm not going to say that right. It's Nico. Yeah, we'll just say Nico for now. Let's see, because I can't see the full name. Nico, you out there? You're on the air.
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
There you are. Everybody's over on this side. All the questions are coming from here. I start walking back that way. I call on somebody, and I end up back over here. What's up, Nico?
One second. Okay, so I have a small space, but I'm interested in expanding my boundary. It's
Okay.
winter here right now, but in the summer and spring, can I go to like a soccer field or like a field and draw like a big boundary and like walk?
You know,
actually
people
walk
have
through?
done it. People have done it, but I would advise against it because direct sunlight is actually going to damage your lenses. All right, it's actually
Okay, it
going to
would
come
have
through
to
the
be like
front
in
of
the
lenses.
afternoon.
Yeah, I would be really careful with that because like if direct sunlight comes into your headset, it's going to actually burn your screen and you're going to burn out some pixels and it's not going to be the same again.
Okay.
You might have had a nice afternoon,
Second
but it won't be worth it.
Yeah, my other question is how big is this room in translated to like the real world? Like if I were to draw this room where I could walk around all the boundaries?
It's pretty close, actually. You will notice a change in scale. Like after this event is over, what happens is I press this button on the wall, and a Ravenhall Talon hovercraft flies down the street, up over those trees, lands in the backyard, and takes us all out to an area called the Ravenhall Flight Academy, where I can teach everybody to fly if you've never flown in Altspace. The reason I mentioned it is because when we get there, when I first built that world, I did it while I was sitting down. Now, when I first got my Quest, one of the first things I did is I came into the office standing up, and the scale looked all wrong to me, right? If you're a world builder, you should try designing it while you're sitting down and while you're sitting up to really get like a perspective of, you know, what that scale is. It is pretty close. Avatars are about 6 feet tall. You do develop a feel for the scale or the size. There are some differences, but it is very, I mean, it really depends on who modeled the thing. You know, if I modeled this stage, for example, and I exactly measured out the height to be, you know, let's see, about 3.5 feet high from the floor. When it comes in Altspace, yes, it's going to be that. It's going to be that size, right? But it really depends on the modeler. You know, so there's no real way to answer that. You know, it depends on the environment that you're in. You know,
If I may?
This one, I would say this is pretty accurate. What was that, Morgan?
If I may also too, this entire platform runs on Unity, and I do know from working with Unity that the units are usually in meters, so an avatar would be technically more like 2 meters. So the room, just think in metric. That helps a little bit.
Yeah, it's actually less than that. It translates to about 6 feet tall, but it's about 1.3 meters or something like that, 1.4, something like that. But yeah, it does come from, everything in here comes from a program called Unity, and yeah, they do use meters and they are in metric. So you know there can be some you know diciness with the conversions between models and stuff. All right, everybody. Now what we're going to do here is we are going to go ahead and press this button. But before I do, if anybody's learned anything here today, please share it with those you come in contact with. So like, let's say that you know you're in the campfire and somebody's down on the ground, you walk up to them and you're like, what's wrong? And they're like, I'm on a quest and I'm stuck in the ground, right? You tell them to press down on that left thumbstick like it's a button because it is. They'll pop up and they'll feel better. You'll feel better because you help somebody, and that's how we help keep this thing going, right? All right, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to press that button. Everybody watch what happens. Here we go. Direct your attention out the window.
Aircraft en route to your position.
Now that is a Ravenhall Talon hovercraft. This is an aircraft that you can actually fly if you'd like to try it. And you can do so by following me out through this back doorway here. And we'll go out into the backyard and meet it as it comes in. It's going to come in pretty low, but so far it hasn't hit anybody yet. So, you know, that we'll admit to anyway. You don't have to worry about that. All right, here it comes. Here we are. Here we go. It's coming in now.
Talon aircraft is now boarding outside for transport to the Ravenhall Flight Academy. Please exit the building and step into the blue light. Thank you.
All right, everybody, been a great audience. I'll see you next time. Thanks for coming.